What's up, guys? Boy, I'm FoxCast here. Welcome to the all-new episode of FoxCast Creepypasta, where today we'll be doing the second half of What is RUE. So, things have started out pretty interesting in the last part. Things have just gotten very interesting, in fact. We had just revealed that apparently something very creepy is going on with the game, and now his friend wants to play it. So without further ado, let's get right into this, shall we? Let's go. What is RUE? Part 2. By, well, technically, RueThat. I complied and positioned Joseph in the center of the room, then put the VR headset on his head, and covered his ears with the headphones. Joseph grinned excitedly. Here goes, I said, and clicked play. The monitor I clicked went black. There was no feed from the game screen. That was puzzling. Games were usually mirrored automatically onto the monitor. I turned to Joseph. He stood perfectly still in the middle of the room. His hands were at his sides and his mouth was pressed into a thin line. I went up to him and tapped him on his shoulder. He ignored me. My heart was starting to beat fast again, and I didn't want to deal with it. So I went downstairs and grabbed some popcorn and chips from the kitchen, taking my time and slowly selecting the flavors I knew were Joseph's favorite. I also stopped to feed the cat. Petting ghosts made me calm down a bit. I headed back upstairs to the room. When I opened the door, Joseph was taking off the headset. He looked around him with wild eyes. His blonde hair was wet with sweat. His mouth opened and closed silently. Then, his gaze settled on me. For a moment, we stood there. I saw something alien in his expression. Then, he broke into a huge grin. Ha 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 ha! He wheezed and laughed. That was amazing! Did you get away? I asked, concerned. Oh yeah, no sweat. He glanced at his shirt, which was darkened in dampness around the neckline. Okay, maybe a little sweat, but I outran the monster, no probs. So, you didn't feel anything strange about it? Joseph looked distracted. His eyes roved around the room. He shook his head vigorously. Only that it was the best horror game I've played in a while. Was that it? Glanced at my computer screen, which displayed the desktop once more. I think so. The game quits after you get out of the tunnel. I wanted to try that again. I looked at him in surprise. Seriously? Of course. This time, I'll get closer before I make a noise. He grinned at me. It'll be a dare. How close can you get before running without getting caught? You play, right? I don't know, I murmured reluctantly. Come on, man, this game is great. You're not gonna bail on me, right? It'll be fun. I eventually caved to his incredible enthusiasm. Alright, I guess it's my turn then. Just hit play. I tensed up as the headset lowered over my eyes. That time, all I wanted to do was get out. I moved forward before my eyes adjusted to the darkness. I made sure to creep forward quietly, but moved much faster this time. The chuckles quietly rose from the depths, again as if the amused individual was covering their mouth with their hands. My clothes clung too tightly to my body, saturated with either the water from the tunnel or my own fearful sweat. The light appeared at the end of the tunnel, and moved closer and closer. The chuckles got louder and more amused at my presence. The scream was still in my head, but Joseph's bravado had affected me, and I pushed onward. The silhouette eventually became apparent. It was a woman, crouching in a fetal position. She was facing away from me. Her hair was dark and greasy. It almost looked as green in the flickering light. Her arms were held close to her body. Her hands were to her face. I edged closer, my heart beating out of my throat. My body ached every time the light flickered, and I thought she was springing to catch me. Her feet. They were facing in the wrong way. They were twisted around like some toy figure that a child had cruelly manipulated. The toes pointed towards me. The skin and the ankles were spiraled and ridged. They had forcefully wrenched around like they had been forcefully wrenched around, the bones broken in the process. My fear broke me once more, and I turned and ran as fast as I could. The laughter burst forth once again, and the sound of her backwards feet got louder and louder behind me. I struggled to run fast without slipping on the wet floor. A few times I felt this instinctual fear was so intense that my face burned. It felt like shame. Like I had done something that broke the laws of the world. And I knew that if I was caught, I would have to see her face. And I knew that would be the end for me, but I made it out. And as I exited the tunnel, the game went black. I tore off the headset. Joseph looked at me expectantly as my breath settled a little. I allowed a relieved whoop of laughter. Joseph cheered with raised fists and started to jump up and down, chanting my name. I joined him jumping, and adrenaline started to fade. It's just a game, I told myself confidently. This game of chicken continued for several hours, with breaks for drinks and snacks in between each run. I ran the game 3 more times. Each one got easier to get a little closer before running away. At this point, I was fairly confident I could always reach the end of the tunnel before the theme caught me, as long as I started to run about 10 paces away from the theme. But there was no way I was getting any closer. And before people started asking, yes, there were red flags I should have seen. The fact that the person didn't move at all while they played, the fact the player was never thought to take the headset off while in the game. My only defense was Joseph's bravery. Made me feel safer than I should have. Before I knew it, the sun was going down. I was cool with Joseph staying over, but I was exhausted. I felt like I had run for miles, even though I hadn't actually run in real life. I told Joseph I was going to bed. Okay, I'll be done in a few more runs, he said as he put the headset on. I left him to it, just relieved he didn't ask me to keep playing until one of us was caught. My bed was outside the room scale devices, although it didn't matter since the game froze all movement. The fatigue overcame me as soon as I fell into bed, and I drifted into a dreamless sleep. A loud noise caused me to bolt upright in my bed, glass shattering, followed by an almost wet thud. I lurched out of the bed and stumbled to find the light switch. Flicking it on, I was met with an empty room. Joseph was nowhere to be seen. Joseph? I called out. Cool night air blew across my face and I shivered. The window had been broken. Going over to see it, I saw the edges were sharp, and with the bits of glass remaining in the frame. I peeked out but couldn't see the ground. I guess I was going to have to go there and investigate. Staring longly into my bed, I prayed that Joseph had gone home for the night, and the window was just broken by a bird or something. I went downstairs and to the front door. Before I left, I grabbed an umbrella, sitting in a basket by the entrance. It was better than nothing. Then, I slowly swung open the door. The porch was dark and silent, except for a creak of wood as I stepped on it. I strained my eyes but couldn't make anything out in the darkness. The moon and stars were hidden. Reaching into my pocket, I pulled out my phone and turned the flashlight on. The light landed perfectly around the splattering of blood in my driveway. That's the only way to describe it, a splattering. I bit my tongue to stop crying out, as if somebody had chucked a water balloon out my window, filled with blood. I saw a trail of footprints leading away from the pool and disappearing into the night. To be specific, it was very one clear foot shape, and one continuous streak of blood. The other was dragging across the ground. I wanted to call out Joseph's name, but something made me hold back. A rule of silence. It was rational to believe that something bad would happen. I made a noise, but at the same time, I was certain that this was the case. I clutched my closed umbrella tightly and began to follow the tracks down my driveway. The trail led away and down the middle of the road. I took the sidewalk. My flashlight flicked between the trail and the sidewalk I was going down. At this point, I was imagining shapes in the darkness. They seemed to always skirt around the edges of the light. Then, I came to a tunnel. For a nightmarish second, I believed I had never left the game. On the wall was the letters RUE, and the R and U were made in faded paint. But the E was starkly red. I got closer and saw the wetness of the letter. I never realized how reflective blood was until I saw it shine on my flashlight. I jumped as the noise broke the silence. My heart kicked into overdrive. I can hear blood pounding in my ears, and I was scared I'd be too loud. I switched off my phone light and listened carefully in the darkness. Then I heard a noise again. A sickening loud thud. The noise occurred rhythmically every 5 seconds or so, emanating from the tunnel. I could have turned back, but the thought of waking up the next day and hearing that Joseph had disappeared made me burn with shame. I swallowed and entered the tunnel. Thud. I used the umbrella to feel my way ahead. I only touched stale empty air. The floor felt empty, as if I had shoes on. Thud. Then a noise broke out that I knew was coming, but I hoped not. A laugh. A terrible laugh. I grinded on my ears, causing me to clench my teeth in discomfort. Thud. I could bear it no longer. I switched on my light. The pale beam revealed a hunched figure. Despair hit me in a wave. It was Joseph. I recognized his hair. His eyes were hidden behind the VR headset he still wore. His face was smiling maniacally and laughing to himself. His teeth clenched together as he laughed. In his hands he held a large chunk of stone, which he held high over his head. Though he brought it down swiftly, thud, I heard something crack. Then Joseph laughed in delight and tossed aside the rock. He grasped his own foot, which he had maimed with the rock, and twisted it violently. I heard tendons give out, and the foot bent to face the wrong direction. Joseph! His name escaped my lips. His head snapped up. I swear he was looking straight at me, even with the headset on. He continued to laugh, and throw chuckles of mirth as he muttered something. It's red. I saw it. You caught me. Joseph, take off the mask, I pleaded, while holding the umbrella in front of me like a weapon. Can't quite. He gave a grunt of inspection, and snapped it entirely backwards. There. Joseph, please. He stood up. Somehow his mangled feet supported his weight. I saw bones shift underneath his bloody and tired flesh. He gazed through me, his mouth stretched in a grimace. It's time to play, he whispered. Then, he lunged at me. So, things are getting very bad here. Apparently, Sutton has taken his friend, and now he needs to run for his life. And we'll leave off here because time constraints, but right after this, I will also upload part 3. So, thank you guys for watching this all new episode of FoxCast Creepypasta. Be sure to like this, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next time!